So in other videos, I've talked about posture. I want to show a little bit more today about how the feet connect to the posture. So the arch of the foot is very, very important. Now, there are actually three arches in the feet. The one that we all know about that's very easy to figure out is what's called the medial arch. That's the large arch on the inside of the foot. There's actually that arch would be like if this were the foot, that would be here, be that part. But then there's actually an arch on the outside of the foot called the lateral arch, and then an arch across the metatarsals, the bones right before the toes. That's called the metatarsal arch. And those three arches actually form a tripod kind of effect in the foot that makes the foot very stable. Now, that medial arch, being the larger one, is very important if it begins to fall. And I want to show you how that can occur in the foot. So let's take a look at a video of the foot and how that arch can fall. So as you see the navicular bone falling down and the arch beginning to fall, what happens then, as you noticed in that video, is that the foot then flattens out and splays. So we'll see a person, this is called foot pronation. Foot pronation meaning that it's falling and then as a result rolling in. As the arch falls, the foot rolls in. If it goes completely down, then we call that pes planus, or flat foot. That's just extreme pronation is what that means. And the result of that is a couple of different things happen. One is that when both feet pronate, it causes the center of gravity of the body to go forward. And as the center of gravity goes forward, the brain thinks that we're going to fall over on our face, which we will if we don't do something to compensate. Therefore, the body has to change its shape and position to compensate for the pronated feet. Let's take a look at that in a video. So as you see there, as that weight bearing is shifted forward, our brain says, no, 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 no. If I can't, I'm going to fall down. And if I can't stand, I can't eat, so to speak. In other words, the hierarchy of function is that we must stay erect. So it will tighten muscles in the lumbar pelvic area. It's called the iliopsoas muscle. It becomes hypertonic, which causes us to arch our back, and also parenthetically causes us, because this is an external hip rotator, it causes us to flare our feet out. So people who have foot pronation or flat feet have a tendency to walk with what we call duck feet. That's what people typically call it, where instead of the feet being this way, they're flaring out. And that actually gives a more stable base that keeps the person from falling. But at the same time, that arches the back and brings the weight bearing back over the feet where it should be, except that the head then is put too far back, and then the head has to come forward to compensate. So in that video, you see there's too much arching of the back and then forward head tilt. All of this, and we talked about other videos, what the actual effect is in the neck and in the low back, but all of this because of what's occurring in the feet. So then there are other factors that can affect it as well. If the person is sitting and bringing their head forward a lot, if they gain a lot of weight and they're carrying extra weight in the front, then they have to lean back to compensate. These are just other factors, aggravating factors. But underlying all of that typically is that we see foot pronation. So then we have to make an orthotic, which is a customized foot insert, to change. Then that has to be customized for that person per foot to change that weight bearing. And by the way, while I'm on the subject, the orthotics that you get at these shoe stores and these foot places, they're not the same as what we're calling an orthotic. The only thing that's the same there is the name. It has to be a very, very specifically made orthotic to actually change the center of gravity and bring the body into proper weight bearing. And if it's not made properly, then it actually can aggravate the problem even more. It's just a side note. So what we're looking at here is how the feet then affect that forward head tilt and sway back. Now in the next video, I want to show how the feet can also affect curves in the spine. Not the side curves, but looking at us from the front, where the spine should be straight, but can actually create curves in the low back and in the neck and upper back from the feet going out of balance. So we'll look at that next.